All right, homies. So basically, economists play two roles. They're scientists and policy advisors. The first one, scientists. When they're acting as a scientist, they basically just step back and say, I'm just going to observe all the things that are going on in the economy and see why things are happening and kind of what happens when you do certain things. The second one is a policy advisor, which kind of takes this observations that the scientists have seen and they say, well, because a lot of times if you do this happens, you should make a policy, for example, like a policy to reduce taxes or something. They say this to some government dude, right? And then the government dude is like, okay, that's cool, policy advisor. I'll either do it or I won't. Also, policy advisors kind of like have to explain themselves because they just say lower taxes, and they'll be like, no, that's stupid. But if they throw in like some Laffer curves and everything, is like, okay, see, we're taxing too much, so it's causing deadweight loss and not government revenue. See, to show kind of the economic principles, we make models. One of these models is the circular flow diagram. Basically, there you got firms and households. Firms is like a company, and households is just your average citizen, you know, or anybody really. And so what happens is the households own land and labor. So basically, they'll sell that land and labor to firms, you know, and rent out the factories, you know, and they work for the company, so that's labor, you know, and so that's how firms are able to produce goods, you know, because they need the labor, they need the overhead, they need all that stuff, and the households give them the firms those things that they need. Now, the households aren't going to do this for free. If you went to your job and worked and like made a whole bunch of crap for your boss, and then he was like, yo, I'm not paying it, like, would you stick around? No, that's stupid. So in return, firms give you wages and just benefits and whatnot. In the markets of goods and services, firms sell everything that they made from the markets of factory production to different households. So your neighbor might have worked for somebody and made, let's say, bananas, and they grew bananas for a company, and this company turns around, they sell the bananas to your neighbor and all your other neighbors and around the world, whatever, and then they keep some of that money, and then they give some of it to you because you helped make it. In the other direction, on the markets for goods and services, you know, they need these goods, you know, like the bananas. If you didn't have bananas, you'd starve to death. That's important that you have food. And so, kind of, firms and households rely on each other to produce and to get what they need to survive, you know.
And I agree with that.
It's your boy, Nate Huffman. Sign the frick out.